Hello, everyone. This is your favorite radio host, Corinne Lafont, on Between the Lines radio show. I have with me Stephen Carandas. Is it no, Stephen? What was it? I have your website as Carandas.
No, Stephen Murray.
Stephen Murray. My God, I'm spoiling you all. You know your name. Stephen Murray. Why do I have Carandas?
That's all right. I've been called a lot worse over the years, so I can live with that.
Oh, Stephen Harvey. How are you, Stephen?
Thank you, Corinne, just fine. And thank you for having me on your show. And thank you to your listeners for tuning in.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been kind of going back and forth trying to sort this out with audio, video, but we're here today. The good thing is that we're here now, and it's a beautiful day today. I'm in Trinidad, broadcasting from Trinidad and Tobago. Where are you, Stephen?
I'm in beautiful, sunny Las Vegas.
No, it's not as sunny. It's not sunnier than Trinidad. Oh, no.
No, it's very sunny where we are. It's a little bit cold outside, but it's very, very sunny, and it's a clear blue sky.
Oh, beautiful here too. Beautiful here too. I just love it. But in Las Vegas, you said?
That's right.
And Las Vegas is what do you call that now? A lot of sand, like Phoenix. What do you call those things?
Desert.
Desert.
Yes,
right.
We are in the desert, but where we live in the part of Las Vegas we live, there's lots of trees, so it's not just all like the Sahara Desert. We always think of the desert as just sand.
Right.
But no, there's lots of lovely trees and shrubs, and we have the changing of the seasons. All the leaves are turning color and what have you. It's very beautiful. Absolutely.
You guys have that too.
Yes, absolutely.
So it snows there?
Well, yes, we're in the state of Nevada, and Nevada is the Spanish word for snow caps.
Really?
So all the mountains in the winter are all covered in snow. A couple of years since I've lived here, we've actually had snow in Las Vegas on the ground. So,
whoa.
Yes, it's very beautiful and we're not far from a skiing area, but about half an hour's drive, and we're up in Mount Charleston, which is a beautiful snowing ski area.
But you don't sound like a Las Vegan person.
Well, I've lived here for 14 years, Corinne, but I was born in England originally, and I grew up in various countries in Southern Africa.
Okay.
And I got the opportunity, after I left school, I left Africa and went back to live in London for 7 years.
Okay.
And I was then fortunate enough to get a job in California.
Okay.
So I moved to California, and I was there for 27 years. And then we moved, my business partner and myself, we decided to move the business to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That's where we are.
What's your business about?
We're a computer software development, but it's not the modern technology software. We do applications, computer software for financial institutions. So we do all the coding and that kind of stuff. So
the techie stuff that I can visualize guys just sitting in a room. Their minds are going. They're away from every other human being. Yeah,
that's good. That's kind of exactly how it is. But it's not the modern graphics stuff, with the click here, click there.
Yeah, it's code, like the Matrix.
There you go.
Ew.
There you go.
So you're British. Is it correct to say British, or do you prefer English?
Well, I'm born English, and I obviously was a British citizen, but I've become a naturalized American since I've lived here so long.
Yeah.
I've lived here longer in America than I have anywhere else. So I'm now a naturalized American.
Nice. So what's your preference? I mean, I'm born Trinidadian, but I've been living in Jamaica for 21 years, and people always ask me the same question, which I'm sure that they ask you, and I will ask you now. What's your preference? Or I don't even know if people want me to choose one of the places, but for you, what's the differences between where you were born and now you're in America?
Well, it's like most things. There's always pluses and minuses. I think for me, the pluses of being in America is the opportunity. The opportunity is always so incredible here, and it's been a very good life for me here. I came here with basically nothing.
Wow.
with the clothes on my back and 2 suitcases, and that was it. And I've
Whoa.
had a wonderful, wonderful life. It's been good. I've been able to start my own business. I now own my own home. I've been able to write my books and publish them, and I've basically been able. I've just had a wonderful life. I think the people are great. The hospitality's super,
Yes.
and there's a level of energy here.
Yes.
It's hard to sort of define, but there's a very positive can-do energy,
Yes.
and um, that's not to say, things aren't great in Britain, but, it was in London, it was very cold and very rainy, and um, the taxes were always high when I lived there. It
Yes.
was much tougher to make a living. But
Wow.
there are certain aspects I miss about Britain. There probably always will be. I'm a great admirer of the Queen and the royal family, and I like that aspect of British life, all that pomp and circumstance stuff. And
Yeah.
um,
And
in
you
London.
sound so British. Oh, so proper. The British are
Oh,
always so
really?
proper. Yes. They're like,
Oh,
oh,
I
oh.
guess I guess 40 years after living in America hasn't changed the
It
accent,
hasn't
huh?
changed. No. So don't tell anybody you're living in America. Yeah. You saw even the way you laugh, the haughty laugh. The British, you just have to love the British. I don't know, they're just so mannerly, so proper.
Well, we try to be
So
try
you,
to be respectful, you
that's
know.
good. That's good. So you have accomplished a lot since being in America, and I like how you said it. It's a land of opportunity. It's always been known. It has built that sort of reputation and still maintains that reputation. And you have authored several books, a couple of books, a few books, well. And from what I've seen on Amazon and on your website, they have been getting great reviews. And I think it's a series, isn't it? It's a long, a very love line. It's romantic. Um, it's fictional, correct?
That's correct.
Right. So
Uh, Um,
tell me about your books. And well, if you were visual with me, you would have been able to hold up the books. But here's what I'm going to do while you're talking about it. I'm going to go to your website and feature them as you speak. Is that okay?
okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, my journey as an author has been a rather unusual one, Corinne, because originally I set out probably about 10 years ago to write a book about my travels, because I've traveled to all 5 continents of the world in some very unusual and interesting places. Well, I think anyway, like Bhutan in the Himalayas, and
Mm-hmm.
down to the Galapagos Islands in South America, and Machu
Wow.
Picchu, and Tahiti, and Palau, and Thailand, and Hong Kong.
Whoa.
Been all over in most of Europe. So I wrote a book on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to try and get it published, and the publisher said, what is selling now is women's fiction. You really need to write women's fiction. And I thought, gosh, I don't really know anything about women's fiction at all. But Las Vegas is the marriage capital of the world, and
That's right.
believe it or not, we're known as Sin City, and as
Right?
the marriage capital of the world. So there's a real odd combination for you. But anyway, I stumbled across the idea as I was writing my travel book. I discovered this real joy of writing. So it was serendipitous that I just got into writing, and I stumbled across this idea about writing about why couples come to get married in Las Vegas. Why are we the marriage capital of the world? Why does everybody come here and go to one of our little wedding chapels and get married and tie the knot?
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, let me have a stab at writing that. And that's what prompted the Chapel of Eternal Love. It is a novel, but it's a series of stories, if you will, about multiple couples, and it gives their backgrounds and their journeys as to what brought them here to Las Vegas.
Okay.
And they're all linked together through the wedding organizer, Rosemary, and her little dog, who you can see on the cover there,
Yes,
Buster.
I'm seeing him looking out the
Um,
door. Who is he looking
he's
for? The bridegroom?
well, he's kind of he's there as a tease to you see the doors just slightly open to the
Yes.
chapel, and the idea was that people would be curious. They'd want to sort of push that little door open to see what's inside. That was the concept behind it.
Yeah.
And so I actually published, well, when I finished writing that book, I thought, well, you know, that was a fun write, and it was a challenge because, you know, writing romance novels doesn't come easily to me, that's for sure. But I put it in the back of the computer, and I then wrote a murder mystery called Murder Aboard the Queen Elizabeth II, which I think is a little bit further down. Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
And that, I then took that to get published, and the company that helped me publish, I self-published, but there's a company that helped me with the cover design and the editing and what have you. And they said, what else have you written other than this murder book? And I said, well, I've written this book about Las Vegas wedding chapel. And they said, oh, you've got to go with that, go with that. So they kind of talked me into getting it published. And that was one of the joys and one of the surprises. You know, as a writer, you never know what's around the corner. And this was never planned, and it took off. And much to my surprise, it spawned a sequel called Return to the Chapel of Eternal Love.
That's
And
this one. Yes.
that's that one. And people got so involved with the couples, they wanted to know what happened to them after they left the altar at the chapel.
Yeah, I would love to know. Are they still married?
Well, that's what people wanted to know. And so I never planned on there being, well, I never planned on the original, let alone a sequel. But I decided then, well, it was fun to come up with follow-up stories for all of these couples. And I said 5 years down the road, and if you see now, the doors open wider to the chapel, and little Buster, you know, he's 5 years older and fatter and grayer. Like,
he kind of
most
aged
of us
there.
are.
He was a little cuter here.
Well, he was 5 years younger, and now he's enjoyed the fruits of life. You can see he's put on all that weight. And,
I'm seeing him.
So that then got put out as a sequel, and that was a follow-up. And then I thought I still wanted to get my murder mystery published. So after I did some of the promotion and marketing on the two chapel books, I then, earlier on this year, I went and I was determined to get my murder mystery published, and I did. So those are the 3 books out there right now.
That's beautiful. And I love the simplicity of the covers. It's very attractive. It's quite simple. There isn't too much of things happening, which takes away from the book. The use of the font, because I mean, I'm a self-publishing consultant and I'm an author, so I help persons to also publish their book, design the covers, and I look at these things, you know, to kind of guide them, you know. So it's very, very simple. It speaks, you know, the door opening, you want to know what's behind that door. You know, why is this dog peering out? You know, and you know, the nice little arch. You can figure it has something to do with a wedding, even though you didn't use the chapel or wedding at all. You know, you could figure it has something to do with that.
Yes. The same lady's designed all 3 of my book covers, and I just love what she's done. And she works for a company that they helped edit too. They're not a publishing company, but they help authors publish. They're called Imagine Communications here in Las Vegas. And I meet with them when I'm going to publish, and I sat with Cynthia Carbajal, who's a book cover designer, and I tell them what the book's about, and they say, what about this, what about that? And it's like a combined process, but she's the creative one. She comes up with the covers. And
I'm just noticing that there is a little ship, a little cruise ship sort of thing, like a Titanic.
Well, that's the Queen Elizabeth II. That's supposed to be the liner, the Queen Elizabeth II.
Right, floating in the glass here. They
put it in the martini glass. Yes, which you see that I thought was very clever. The way she put the ship in the martini glass.
Yes, that's lovely. That's lovely. It's if you didn't look at it really well, you mightn't realize. I'm like, wait, something is floating in there. What? It's a ship.
Yes, there you go.
And the pearls, you know, I mean, it's so feminine. It brings that sort of elegance, you know, and people always say once a woman have pearls, I mean, you don't need anything else. You just need a string of pearls. That's it. Pearls go with everything.
Well, I think she did that because, the Queen Elizabeth II is luxury. Everything is
It's
dripping with
luxury.
luxury. I've had the good fortune to travel on it,
Yes,
and
nice.
it was just dripping with luxury, and everything's very elegant and very
Yes,
classy. And I
yes,
think she was trying to symbolize that with the martini glass and the pearls, so that it would give that
yes,
aura of
yes.
elegance and
And of
refinement.
course, the use of the colors bring all that royalty as well.
Yes,
That rich.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. I love that. That's
yeah.
nice. So
Very,
you
very
wrote,
pleased. Very
yes,
pleased with
you
the book
wrote these
covers.
books. What year did you write these books?
Well, I think that the Chapel of Eternal Love was written around about 2012,
Hmm.
and I then wrote the murder mystery round about, I think it was 2013.
Hmm.
And then I went in to get the murder mystery published, and that's when they said, publish the Chapel book. So I got that one published, and then I followed up with the return that got published. I wrote that in 2014 and published it in 2015.
Okay.
And I
That's a
think,
short that's a short time span because when I speak to authors, sometimes they don't churn out books as fast as that. You're talking like about a year and a half, sort of, and I try to encourage persons to stay on the momentum when they come to their writing. I mean, it happens to me too. It's been some time since I've written my books. I have the book covers, I have the outline, but I haven't really sat down to follow up on my other books, and to have that sort of discipline. I wanna talk to you about the sort of discipline required and what make you kept going, you know.
well, I have well, there's two things that are very critical. And one thing I would suggest for all your authors
Mhm.
um, is, if they can, join a writer's critique group.
Yes.
If they can find one in the area, and I'll give a tip as to where they can go to try and find one
Right.
if they're interested. But that's what I did.
Okay.
And it started out, there was two guys and one lady, and once I actually started writing, it land up with five ladies and me.
Hmm.
And they were invaluable for this chapel book because, as I said, I don't know anything about
You know
women.
what, woman?
Yes, and that they'd say, "Well, what does the bridal bouquet look like?" I say, "Who cares?" And they say, "Oh, women need to see that thing in a book, so I have to go back." But we meet,
Who cares? Typical man response, right?
right? I guess.
Who
And
cares? And I'm sure
what's she
and
wearing?
five women looking at you like, what? What do you mean?
Oh yes. Oh, they'd have to hit me out over the head with a 2x4 so many times, and they say, "Well, what you're not describing what the bride's wearing." And I said, "Well, that's not the point of the story. The story is why are they at the altar to begin with? Why have they come to Las Vegas? We need to know what she's looking like, what her flowers are like, and da 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 da." So, but we meet every 2 weeks, so there's forced discipline there, because
Oh
one
yeah.
of the rules is, in order to go, you have to present something you've written,
Oh
even
my
if it's just one
God.
page or just 2 pages. You have to take something.
Like no pressure, right, Stephen?
Right. And what I do, or certainly when I wrote these chapel books, I would try and sit down every Saturday afternoon, if possible, when the office phones aren't ringing,
Hmm.
and people are out doing their shopping. I'd sit at home in the office and I'd lock myself away.
Yeah.
And during the weeks, I'm going to the bank, or I'm going to the supermarket, or to the post office, or if I'm driving around, my head's going with ideas for the next chapter, and what so and so is going to say, and
Mhm.
what they're going to do, and what their
Mhm.
background is. So I'm formulating all the ideas in my mind during the week. And then when I sit down, certainly on the chapel book, the first one, the
Mhm.
words just tumbled out when I sat down behind that keyboard.
Right.
It was unreal. It was almost like the couple was inside my body,
Yes.
pushing that story out.
Yes. I could
And
relate to that. Yeah.
when I finished, I'd be absolutely exhausted, and I'd print it out and I'd see all these errors, and I think, my God, all these errors in this book. But the idea, all the thoughts were there, and it was just bursting to get out on
Sorry.
those
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
into the
That's nice.
computer there.
I love that tip. I love that tip about joining a critique group. There are writers groups. I don't know. I don't know how effective they are. I've been to a couple, and I don't know how effective. But I like the sort of niche group that you're saying about the critique,
Yes.
because you're coming with an intention, as opposed to just talking about your writing or what you would like to do. But you come with something prepared for feedback.
That's it. That's exactly it. It's not only for feedback, but also when you're sitting with other writers and they're reading out theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I found I learned an incredible amount about writing from the
Yeah.
other people in the group. They've all
Yeah.
got different styles,
Yes.
and you know, you can say, well, why did you put it like this? Why did you put it there? And you just learn a lot
Mm-hmm.
from those other authors. And one thing I like is it's got to be done in a positive context, Corinne.
Mm-hmm.
And we always, what we do is I print out 6 copies. There's a copy for everybody in the critique group.
Wow.
So when you get to read yours aloud, they are following along. And
Nice.
they put little notes down the side. They do grammar corrections, spelling
Nice.
corrections, things like that.
Nice.
And
Nice.
at the end, we're not there to critique and pull people down and say this
No,
is
no,
trash.
no.
We're there to encourage each other and support each other, which is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So it's
but
like your own little study group mastermind. Everybody's coming to get value, give value. So you're not coming to get. You're also coming to give.
absolutely, it's give and take. It's give
Yes.
and take,
Yes.
and we all have our 15 moments in the sun um, every 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
it's important to get into a group where the camaraderie is good. I mean, our group's been together now for I think about 5 or 6 years,
Wow.
and as I said, I couldn't. Any credit there is to my writing, I have to give a lot of credit to my support group
Yeah.
critique group, because they're so great. And if you've got authors out there saying, well, where in the world do I find one?
Yes.
There is one website I would like to touch on. It's called hometownreads.com.
Okay. I'm going to bring it up here. Hometown.
Yeah. And while you're bringing it up, I'll
Is that correct?
reads.com. There you go. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. And
Yeah.
you'll see it will bring up hometown authors, and it will have authors by every scroll down, and
Okay.
you
Different
see it's got all the
locations.
sources. Now, if you go down, just scroll down to like Las Vegas, they've got all these different Las Vegas.
Didn't I see Las Vegas a while ago? No.
No, it's all alphabetical, so you've got quite a
Oh,
ways
Las
to go.
Vegas.
But look at all these sites, all these cities.
Oh, wow. Las Vegas here. Mm-hmm.
There you go on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm. Should I click on it?
Yes, go and click on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll bring up all the authors who've got their books out there with contact information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And each author you can put up multiple books, but they will just display one cover. And they rotate these pictures constantly.
Nice.
So, and if you go to page 2.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Now, if you click on
Whose one is this? This
Yeah.
book looks familiar.
Well, now if you click on that.
If I click on this?
Yes, click on that. Okay. Now, see, it gives you a little bit about the bio, and there's contact information. It'll put contact information. It lists all the other books out there.
So you get the person who joins this would be able to get some promo, get their own web page if they can't afford to build their own website.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But also here, I think you will see there's contact information, and it will show all the websites and things like that. So people can reach out to other people in their city.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Are you interested in joining a writer's critique group? Because it can be kind of lonely and hard when you're out there by yourself.
Of course.
Just writing your own book, and you've got nobody to feedback.
That's right.
Who's in the business, if you will, of writing. You know, it's one thing giving it to friends, which is always great, but
Yeah.
it's nice to get the feedback from fellow authors and writers and contribute. But
This need to extend out to the rest of the world and to the Caribbean, my God, because there are people who are writers in the US and they may want to write in a setting of the Caribbean or in the Far East. And it would be great to connect with someone, you know, in those locations to kind of get an idea or even to visit. Say, hey, I would love to come over to your country and, you know, get a feel for this. Could I stay by you and, you know, spend a week and, you know, you can connect. Isn't that going to be awesome?
yeah, well, that's the one. Well, you should write to the people that run it. I think there's a contact us
Yeah,
place at the top, but make
yeah.
a little note of that, or you know, you can email me afterwards if
Mhm.
on any of this information that I give out. But that's one thing. Well, certainly for your American
Yeah,
audience, they might want to check out this site because it is a good place to advertise and connect with fellow writers in your area,
yeah.
meet and have a drink, and see if they can form groups.
Of course. This is awesome. I love this. So how did you find out about this particular group? I mean, you're new to writing. How did you find out about this?
I don't know. You know, a lot of it, Corinne, is just doing Googling, and
Mm,
I can't remember now how I found out about this. Um,
mm.
but you know, probably like most authors, I was totally green, Corinne, when I published my first book, and
Yeah.
I was in our critique group. Nobody had published their books. We were all, you
Yes,
know,
fresh
raw.
waters. Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't even have a Facebook page or a website or anything when I first published my book, and
Mhm.
I was under the mistake and the misapprehension that once I sent a flyer to all my friends, just through
Mhm.
5 degrees of separation, it would be on the New York Times bestseller list. Well, you know, it doesn't work like
It
that.
doesn't work like that. No.
And you know, the company that helped me publish, they took me to get it printed, and they said, "Here's your first 200 books." And it
Mhm.
was like, well, now what do I do?
No, right. So
And
what did you
that's
do?
well, fortunately, within the first couple of weeks, I landed my CPA, my accountant knows somebody that hosts an author's radio show here in Las Vegas, James
Mhm.
Kelly, and she got me a gig, if you will, on his show.
Okay.
And he was kind of mortified when we were sitting talking on the interview, and he said, "Well, you know, where can people go to get your book?" And I said, "Well, you know, they can send me a letter. Here's my PO box, and
Oh
they
my
can go to
God.
it." And after the show, he said, "You're not on Amazon, you're not on Facebook, you're not
Facebook,
on Goodreads." And I said,
not
"No, no,
right.
no." So I was kind of dragged kicking and screaming onto Facebook. Um, but even then, and even on Amazon, you know, everyone says get your book on Amazon. You've got to get your book on Amazon,
Yeah,
which is true. But people have still got to know your book is out there. How do they
yeah.
know your book is out there
Exactly.
to get on
That's
Amazon?
exactly what I tell people. Some people think from the time I publish their book on Amazon, it's automatic. Sales are just going to be coming in, cha-ching, cha-ching. I'm like, that's not how it works.
No, no, it
It's a
isn't.
virtual space, just like how you would walk into a physical bookstore where there are books all over. How will somebody know that the book is on the shelf over there in the back? Nobody knows unless you guide them or you tell them or there's some promotion. And remember, a physical bookstore cannot compare to Amazon. Amazon is millions of books, and every day hundreds of thousands of books are being published. So it's becoming more and more competitive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And but there are some websites out there that I think that authors should go to get their books.
You want to
Um,
mention one for me? We could mention one.
well, actually, there's if I could mention two because
Yeah.
two different purposes. One is very good. Go to www
Mhm.
authors den authors
Authors
den
then.
den there you go .com,
Okay.
and this is another wonderful website.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow, there's
because
a
this
lot.
place also does book reviews as
Oh,
well.
very good.
Um,
And
and
reviews,
if you put out a,
I was saying to you earlier that reviews are very, very good for authors because it helps. Just like if you were looking for accommodation, when I'm looking for accommodation when I travel, the first thing I look at is reviews. If I'm
for
going to
sure,
buy a book, the first thing I look at is reviews.
for
So,
sure.
yeah,
And if you just scroll down a little bit further, because
yeah.
there's a couple of highlights. See here, we've got this popular book section, and if
Which
you
book
keep
section?
scrolling down,
Go a little down.
stop right there,
Oh,
and
okay.
see most popular books up at the
Mm-hmm.
top. Click on
Yeah.
that, and it will list the 100 most
Wow.
popular books. And if you scroll down, I think,
Are you on here?
yeah, believe it or not, I still am. There you go, more
Oh
murder.
my
Right now, it's at
God.
number 31. So people,
Nice.
when they're looking, if they're intrigued by this, now click on this, murder,
Yeah.
and then you see the authors, they can put out all the information, how it's available, and look over on the right-hand side, popular mystery and suspense books. It's
Yeah.
number 2 in that category. So
Here.
when you go out, you put all your books in the categories that they're in,
Yes.
and it allows you, if you scroll down, it allows you to put out reviews
Nice.
that you've received.
It's sort of like an Amazon, but this is it's different. Is it less persons in here which makes
I don't know.
your ranking higher?
I don't know. There's couples of, again, you need to keep up on it. Like out here, you can put events. It enables you to post events, any upcoming book signings you've got.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
enables you to post news. Like after this interview, I will go out there and in my news, I will say I had a delightful radio interview with Corinne Lafont,
yeah.
Trinidad. And so that pops up. Some people will click on it, and that's what it goes on. That's how they determine the popularity, by the number of
Wow.
clicks to your websites, to your events.
This is nice. Yeah,
And
this is great.
they've this new review program that they've put up.
Mm-hmm.
If you provide a free copy, they will guarantee people will request to read your book, and authors then will notify you, and you can either approve or decline the person. If you know them to be somebody that's not
Right,
overly friendly, you might sort of think, well, I don't want them to review my book. But
right.
the people are honor bound, if they're getting a free copy, to then go and post a review.
Oh,
So this is
wonderful.
something new they've started up. They've got different levels of membership, but I would strongly recommend Authors Den
Oh,
to
nice.
authors.
Let's try another one. You said you have another
The
one.
other one I think is a really good one. It's readersfavorite.com.
Readers
Favorite. And favorite spelled the American way. There you go.
.com.
And in this site,
Cool.
you can, what's nice about this site too is you can submit your book for a free review.
Oh, lovely.
And it'll take 12. You can either get a free one or you can pay and enter into a competition and what have you, which is also very good. What I like about Reader's Favorite is it does carry some weight, Corinne. If they will give you a 4 or 5 star review, if they don't think your book's that good, they're not going to put they will email you privately. They're not going to just put a 1 star review out and say this is terrible, blah blah blah.
Nobody should do that.
No, but if you get a 5 star review, you can they will allow you to purchase some stickers. You see right there, right in the middle there, you see those little circles. These are award stickers, and you can get them and you can stick them on your book. And I know it does make a difference.
It does. It does.
At first, I wasn't going to bother with them. And then one of the ladies in my critique group, she said, get them, because she said, when I'm in a bookstore, if I see a book with one of those stickers,
I'm getting them. I'm getting it.
I do a second look. Even at Barnes and Noble here, I don't know if you have Barnes and Noble.
No, but we know Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
You know Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
The local ones here, when I've gone in to ask them to order my book, and I'll tell them that they are all three of them. They're all 5-star rated,
Yes.
and they'll say, "Well, we'll let you know when your books come in, and if you come down and put the stickers on," and I will. I'll go down and put the stickers on. So this is a nice little site to
I
get a nice
love
free review.
that.
The authors, then the other one, as I said, they've got different levels of membership. You can get a free review, or you can pay, and there's different levels. But this, you can just nice and get a good free review.
This is nice.
And if you
do
do
you
get
have to
that,
join?
you pay. I think,
do you have to pay to get a free review? No.
No. You'll see on the left-hand side, it's got book award contest. Now, if you enter in the contest, yes, you have to pay.
Yeah.
But you can just get a free review, and the paid one, you'll get it expedited. But I waited on all three of them. Well, no, on the last one I waited, and they said it'll be up to 12 weeks. Well, that's okay.
That's fine.
I can wait 12 weeks.
Yeah, you could write another book in 12 weeks.
Well, I don't know about that. I still have a full-time job. But there are more websites. But I know that you were interested in talking about some other.
Yeah, but this is fabulous. You've shared 3 major things in this interview. We spoke about hometown reads. I mean, it's mainly specific to the U.S., but it's a start.
Let me give you then, if I can, one international one. Authors talk about it. Click on that, because that is international.
Authors talk about it?
Yes, there you go, .com. And I was very pleased that my Chapel of Eternal Love, I entered that into the competition. And it won first prize in the mainstream fiction.
Nice.
But you'll see there they have book cover contests.
Oh, lovely.
So where people can just enter. You see if you scroll down, they've got winner announced.
Yeah.
And if you win, on the right-hand side, you'll see the ATAI authors talk about it, book award contest, all the different categories. They will keep your book cover up there for a year if you've won.
Oh, that's nice.
Unfortunately, my year just finished, so my picture's gone. If you subscribe to them, they are constantly having different kinds of competitions, book covers, see all those things. They've got contests. We've got a contest. So that's another good one, resources for authors. But this is truly international. They do have people from all countries throughout the world. So
I'm definitely going to be sharing this and talking about this. This is awesome. This is awesome. I see something here, marketing library, is it? Okay, and get noticed. So they give you some great tips here as well.
Yes.
But for someone who is I would call you a fresh author, you know a lot about what's going on. So which meant that you did your research. And for somebody who was green, you're no longer green.
No. No. No, and this one came about because the couple, Rob and Janelle Alex, that they hosted a radio station.
I know Rob and Janelle.
If you know Rob and Janelle, this is their website, my dear.
I didn't know that. This is new. I think I know Rob and Janelle. Alex.
Janelle Alex. They hosted a radio show, and I got to be interviewed on their radio show. And
I know a Rob. I think I know a Alex Rob. It's probably the other way around.
Could be.
Yeah.
They were originally based in Colorado, but they've now moved to Texas.
Oh, nice.
But I was on their radio show, and then we started emailing afterwards, and they started up with these contests and submitted. And
I like this. I definitely like this. So we have shared four things. So I'm going to use all those links, when I'm promoting the show, so that persons can go and have a look. Yeah.
Yes. Sure,
you don't want to give away everything, because like I was discussing with you earlier, what we want to do is put together some great material for persons, so that this would be like a teaser. This interview we're doing today would be like a teaser, of course, so that they can see the value that they will be getting, when we produce more material coming out and what you've shared. And on your journey, we're going to get deeper into your journey, deeper into my journey as well. So we will be sharing that. And what just popped into my mind, it would be great, Stephen, if the persons from your writing group can also join us. I don't have a problem interviewing them, even if they're not finished writing their book, just for them to also join us and, share their journey and contribute as well, making it an even more valuable material content that we can share, if that's okay with you. Giving them some promo, helping you, helping them, etc. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely. That two of them have published 2 books, and the other 2, they are just about wrapping up their first book. They're both hoping to get it published this year.
So they could deal with some of this promo and I mean the information is fabulous.
Well, yes, and the other two ladies who have published both books. One of them, her books are poetry books on Alzheimer's, of all things. She's been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Her name's Nancy Nelson.
That's lovely. That's a great story there.
And it's a great story, and she's really trying to heighten awareness of Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And the issues that she's
I would love to
dealing with.
Her. You need to tell them about me, Stephen.
Oh, I will. You know what? I do all the time. I promote and recommend this, and I can put them in touch with you directly.
Yes.
Sue Montgomery, the other author, she's written 2 wonderful books about immigrant families in Chicago, one from Ireland and one from Italy at the turn of the 20th century, and the epic sagas. So, in our critique group, we're all writing different genres.
That's right.
That's what makes it interesting. That's why we learn so much from each other.
Yes. In one place. Can you imagine? You learn so much about the world through other people in one place. Isn't that amazing? The whole
absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
That's amazing. Stephen, this has been a wonderful interview. I have gotten so much. I have learned things that I didn't know before. I didn't know about these sites. And this is why I love doing these interviews. I love meeting people because just like with your networking critique group, you learn so much from others. You limit yourself when you stay by yourself.
Well, absolutely, and it's all about giving back. We all need to give back and help each other. I always say we're links in a chain.
That's right.
And the more links there are in the chain, the stronger it is.
The stronger it is. That's right. That's right.
But I hope to come back because I'd like to talk about book signings and book presentations.
Oh, of course. You will
Where
be
to
back.
Go.
You will be back. There is no choice. You don't have a choice in the matter, Stephen. You don't have a choice. I'm coming to Las Vegas. You'll be hearing me screaming, Stephen.
Well, I know that people have Facebook pages and they have websites, and people are into Twitter and Instagrams and what have you. And I haven't been too involved in that. And I thank you, Corinne, for allowing us to focus on some other things that people don't know about. We all know about Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and what have you. And hopefully some of these sites will help your audience out there of places they might not be aware of.
That's right. And that's what they're looking for, that added value, that difference, something that they didn't know about, that they have discovered or learned about. And this is what my show is about, really giving people those unique little things that can do more for them. Because the Facebook and the Twitter, everybody knows about that, and it might not give the return that people are looking for. And so just by doing something like this, may boost their sales, may boost their credibility, their visibility. It may just do that one thing that changes everything for them.
Well, could well be. And of course, we don't really know how effective these sites are because you don't know. People might just go out on Kindle. I have no idea where my Kindle orders come from. I know people buy it on Kindle because I get little checks every now and then.
Yeah, yeah,
But I don't know where they heard of the book, who they are, where they live.
yeah,
We've got no idea. And if,
yeah,
same if they buy it on Amazon, we've
yeah,
got no idea how they heard about the book. So
yeah,
it could
yeah,
be from some of these sites. It might all be for nothing. But
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, if it's free or it's easy or it's relatively cost effective to put it out there for some of
That's
your
right.
authors,
Yes.
you've got nothing to lose. The more places
Nothing.
out there, and
Yeah,
when people Google, of course, all these sites crop up.
that's right.
You know,
That's
so
right. That's right. That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right. But this is fabulous, Stephen. Stephen, it's still a beautiful day in Trinidad. I'm sure it's still a beautiful day in Las Vegas. And it's a beautiful conversation. I so enjoyed talking with you. I know we're past the hour. I'm not even asking for forgiveness. I I tell people, half an hour, yeah, that's what I give. But once the conversation is going on and value is being offered, I don't stop people from talking. I just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, because I want to be able to give so much value to my audience. Yeah.
Oh it's been a pleasure chatting with you, Corinne. I've loved every minute of it, and
Yeah.
yes, it's a beautiful day here, and of course, we woke up this morning, so that by virtue of that fact, it is a beautiful day just by
It is.
waking up. So,
That's right. That's right.
but I hope your listeners enjoyed it as much as I did, Corinne. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
It's been a
Thank you
pleasure
for the
here. Thank
opportunity.
you so much, Stephen. And you have a beautiful day. Get some rest. It's almost the end of the week again, and soon it will be the Christmas holidays. By
I
the
can't
time,
wait.
yes, by the time we talk again, I will hopefully be able to see you on your nice Christmas tree and all your lights going. So, so
There you
you,
go.
so you can tell me how they celebrate in Las Vegas, except in the wedding chapel.
There you go. Okay. Take care, Corinne.
You too, my dear. Have a good
Lovely
one.
chatting with you, and we'll chat with you again soon.
We
Bye
will. You
bye.
take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.